All right, ladies and gentlemen, mga kariktards, to the thousands watching and the millions all around the world, sa mga kariktards natin dyan, once again, welcome to another episode of what we used to call Trigger Talk. Ngayon, binago na po natin ang title. Now we are called Voice of the Boys. Welcome to this show, our weekly show, Voice of the Boys, once again with THERICKMATTHEWS. Like, subscribe, and share on my YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook page. Nandito na po lahat. Kamusta po kayo, mga kariktards? How are we? How are we the boys at? Ano bang pag-uusapan natin for tonight? Kamustahan kayo? Leave a comment down below. Tonight is another Friday night. Ito na po, the start of the weekend. And eto na, what another night to share another bottle of beer, hanging out with your friends. Unfortunately, hindi pa po tayo pwedeng lumabas-labas sa mga bars, sa mga clubs, so we can only do this online, yung mga Zoom kamustahan, mga online, tulad ng ginagawa namin mga tropa ko, online kamustahan, online kwentuhan, grab a drink, share your stories, and this will be your online platform also. If you want to share your stories down below, leave a comment, and I will read it one by one later on. So, what's up? What's up? Ano pa pag-uusapan natin for tonight? Unat sa lahat again, follow TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, THERICKMATTHEWS, because our episode 4 tonight will be very similar sa ating pinag-usapan last week. So, last week, pinag-usapan natin ang ating past self, We discussed further, I shared to you yung aking mensahe sa aking 21-year-old self. I shared a little bit of myself, who I was before. Now, let's focus on the present. Now, the question here is, mga kariktard, for episode 3. For episode 3, ang tanong dyan is, should we only be living for the present? Ano bang ibig sabihin yan, mga kariktards? Hindi ba, kung tayo ba ay kailangan nakafocus lang kung nasan tayo ngayon? Can we also look into our future? Pagplanuhan na natin, taniman na natin ang ating gustong gawin, plant your seeds for your long-term gratification. So let's talk about that more on later. So this is going to be more on your future self. So, ladies and gentlemen, so chill lang tayo ngayon. Hindi tayo masyadong, ayoko naman trigger, baka mamaya magka-hate comment o bigla. Pero ano lang tayo dito, online kwentuhan. Kung if you're one of the boys or mga usapang lalaki, just leave a comment down below. Once again, andito lang ako, THERICKMATTHEWS. So, if you have any insights on what we are gonna be talking about, just leave a comment down below. Once again, talagang lang tayo, we're very interactive. We're very walang hiya-hiya dito basically. Ako nga to, kita mo mag-isa lang ako nagsasalita dito. But later on, there's gonna be someone joining us para makakwentuhan ako, para hindi ako magbukang sira ulo dito online by myself. Alright. Now, mga kariktards, the question here is, should we only live for the present? So, I will be discussing that more later on. Pero kayo ba, mga kariktards, kailangan kilalanin nyo ang sarili nyo. Who you were before. Bago ninyo tanungin ang sarili ninyo ng tanong na ito, ang lalim. Make sure you have to know your past self first. And make sure you've already, in a way, started to move on sa past. To move on to the past, yung mga kasalanan mo dati, you don't no longer dwell on it, and now you're focused on the present, and now we'll try to build for the future. So ngayon, I will give you a few signs na hindi pa rin kayo, I'll give you a few signs that you're just currently living in the now. So, I will give around 5 or 6 signs about the present na you're not looking into the future but only for what you are right now. So, what are these 5 subtopics? Ano ba tong mga 5 senyas na ngayon na you're just only living for the now? So, mga ka-Ricktards, let's just start with the first one. Unat sa lahat, ito, very common sa ating mga Pilipino, mga ka-Ricktards. Very, very I myself, madalas guilty ako dito, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa mga tasks, sa exercise, And that is the mañana attitude. Mamaya na. Sige, bahala na si Batman. Bukas na yan. Hindi naman importante yan eh. Next time na lang. So, mañana attitude. Ibig sabihin nun, mga ka-Ricktards, kung ikaw, if you have a certain goal or if you have a certain task, lalo na kung importante, you delay it. Mamaya na yan. Hindi naman importante yan. Mamaya na yan. Kaya ko namang gawin bukas yan. Pagod na ako. Mamaya na yan. Marco Tolentino. Oy! Musta, Pops Marco? Welcome to my show. Maraming salamat sa pag-support, sa pag-nood. Hope you enjoy this episode 3 about your present self. And napag-usapan natin mañana, basically. Hindi tamad. Hindi naman tamad. Siguro, procrastination. There you go. You're procrastinating. And I understand there are actually good things that happen when you procrastinate. Ano ba yun? When you procrastinate, paano kung nagka-idea ka? Kung may gusto ka sabihin, tapos sinabi mo kaagad, hindi mo iniisip. Mali pala yung sinabi mo. Mali pala yung ginawa mo without thinking deeper into it, without proper planning. So, in some ways, may magandang traits din ang mañana attitude. And that is when you're saying mamaya na, not because you're lazy, but maybe because for now, hindi siya applicable. Baka mamaya sumablay pa sa mukha mo, you're gonna add more problems in your life. Kaya when you say mañana, it's only a good thing when you're planning ahead. Mamaya na, sige, hindi pa pulido yung plano natin, hindi pa pulido ito. Adjust pa natin. Mamaya na yan, bro. Focus muna natin kung ano yung mga problems ngayon. Mamaya na natin asikasuhin yan. Pag naasikaso na natin ang mga pinoproblema natin ngayon. Okay? Priorities, basically. You have your own priorities. Ito nga, sabi ni Pops Ace Gadia, yun, napakayaman ng ating viewer ngayon. Pero, tama siya. Happens to the best of us. Kailangan pa rin gawin talaga. And like I said, it's not always bad. I've reiterated may tinalakay naman ako mga mabubuting bagay pag sinabi mong mamaya na. Paano nga kung na ginawa mo agad-agaran yung isang bagay tapos mali pala, sumablay pala, nagkamali ka. Yung pala napahamak ka pa kesa na nabiyayaan ka. Mamaya na ibig sabihin, it may not be good for now, but maybe later, mas applicable siya. But if you say na mamaya na, tinatamad ako, mamaya na, hindi naman mawawala yung problema na yan. I guess you have to pick your priorities first, basically, mga ka-Ricktards. And kasi paano kung sinabi mo, mamaya mo na babayaran yung utang mo. Mamaya mo na i-confront yung kaaway mo. Kakamamaya mo na, the more you say mamaya na, nagbi-build up yan pa unti-unti. So, I guess when in terms of those kinds of things and situations, it's best to address them as soon as possible. Address those problems as soon as possible because if you don't, the longer they stay, the bigger they pile up. So, mañana attitude is only applicable if you have something that you want to plan but it's still not applicable, lalo na kung marami ka pa pinoproblema, paano kung gusto mong bumili ng bahay pero may hindi ka pa pala binabayaran, hindi mo pa pala binabayaran yung mga iba mong utang, yung mga iba mong bayarin, mga bills. So mamaya na yan, nasa plano yan. It's something that it's not urgent, basically. Ito nga sabi ni Ace, may reason kung bakit siya hindi gumana. But in the future, it might materialize. I'll give you an example. There are, if nung last year, naalala niyo yung kanta ni Sarah Geronimo, yung Tala, di ba? Dance craze yun last year, di ba? Paskong Pasko, yun ang sinasayaw ng lahat ng Christmas parties. And ewan ko na lang ngayon, baka yun pa rin. Pero ang difference lang, online na lang. Kasi bawal po mag-Christmas party, mga karektards. But last year, sobrang hit na hit yung kantang yun. But do you know, mga karektards, kung kailan pa na-publish, kung kailan pa naging kilala, rather, when was it first aired? It was first played last 2016 pa. Imagine, it took her 3 years, hindi 4 years, 3 years para yun mag-trending. So, it might not be today, but it will be later. Pero at least, di ba? And tandaan nyo yun, yung mga ginagawa nyo ngayon, mga karektards, may tamang panahon yan. Baka bukas, baka mamaya na. It might not be today, but keep going. Don't delay. Do not postpone your goals and dreams. Kasi you never know, baka ikaw na maging next big thing. At lalong-lalo na pag mahal na mahal mo yung ginagawa mo. So, yun lang naman. So, manana attitude. Sakit natin mga Pinoy yan, mga karektards. And I hope it changes, and maganda ngayon kasi paunti-unti nang nababago, lalo na kasi ang iniisip kasi ng tao na everything is instant, and I'll get into that later. Na everything is instant dahil ayun nga, na nabiyayaan na tayo ng magandang internet, na magandang gadgets, everything can be instant. That's why we delays other stuff because mahirap gawin, matagal. So, mamaya na yan. Manana attitude. And ladies and gentlemen, ito na po, may guest po tayo ngayong gabi. Ito na po, one of our mga kaboses. Ako po, one of our closest voice mates dito sa Creative Voices Productions, aking kumpanya na pinagtatrabahuhan at pinag-i-stayan ngayon. One of my good friends as well. Nandito na po ang managing director ng Creative Voices Productions, Mr. V. Caster. Are you ready, sir? Yes, sir. All right. Here we go. Let's give a round of applause to our one and only Sir John Jeffrey Gusayko. Hey. What's up, Sir Jeff?
Magandang gabi, mga kaboses, voice mates. Hello.
Kamusta po kayo, Sir Jeff?
TGIF, bro. Doing great.
Yeah. Indeed. Thank God it's Friday, man. Thank God it's Friday night. More importantly, the start of the weekend. What a perfect way
to supposed to be partying, but instead we're locked up home.
Oo nga. Ito na lang house party na lang tayo. Digital party. Nasabi ko nga. So, Sir Jeff, unat sa lahat, maraming salamat. Maraming salamat sa pag-attend ng aking show. This is my 3rd episode already. And we're also live on VG8. VG8 Radio. Na biyayaan tayo.
Thank you for inviting me. And of course, good evening. Wow. Good evening to our partner, ating mentor, nag-iisang voice master of the Philippines, Sir Joy. And of course, ang ating cool na managing director, ang nag-iisang Ramier TV.
Ayun!
Gabi, mga
VG8. Ibang klase yan, si Kuya Raymar. Raymar lang malakas.
And of course, to you, bro, THERICKMATTHEWS. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Maraming salamat din, sir, sa pagbiyaya, sa paggabay sa akin ng pagbili ng bagong desktop. Yes! Excited na ako, sir. Monday, may bago na akong desktop.
Monday, deliver na ko sa'yo.
After 10, kailan ba ako huling nagka-desktop, sir? 12-15 years ago. Ganun katagal.
Well, yung predator mo naman is like, desktop power.
Yung Alienware, no? Pero grabe, napaglumaan na. So, but anyway, Sir Jeff.
Yeah.
What can you say about this? We are currently talking about should we only live for the present? And I'm talking about 5 signs, and we're on the first sign that you're only living for the now. So, what can you say about the manana attitude? Mamaya na yan? Bukas na yan? Huwag mo nang alalahan.
Ironically, nakakatawa. When I was watching the pre-show, so before logging in, kasi nga nagkakaproblema ako sa setup, I was watching this meme about, I think kay Kong yata yun. Alam mo ang problema sa manana habit. Ganun. So, I was watching yung meme na yun. I think very common na siguro yan sa, Filipino. Very Filipino. I myself, guilty ako dyan. Tanongin mo yung nanay.
Yes, all of us.
Gawin mo yung ganito, gawin mo yung ganyan, tapon mo yung basura, mamaya na, ganyan. Hanggang sa
Mamaya na.
nangyayari na, nakakalimutan na natin, di ba? So, hindi mo na siya
Oo, yun. Good point, sir.
Oo, yeah. And I think, it's still happening right now, even though, ironically, sa buhay natin, sa panahon ngayon, in the pandemic, ang dami-dami nating oras, di ba?
Exactly.
I've been always constantly reminding myself yung mga backlogs ko ng vlogs. At alam ni Ramir yan, ni Raymar yan, na hindi na natuloy-tuloy, lagi ang mangyayari lang, sige, mamaya na ng konti. Mag-record muna ako, send muna ako email, hanggang sa nangyayari, mauubos ang oras mo kakascroll sa Facebook. Yan, di ba lahat tayo guilty dyan? Hanggang sa nangyayari, mamaya gabi na, mamaya alas 5, alas 6, alas 7, hanggang sa matutulog ka na, wala na, hindi ko na siya nagawa. And I think, I think this carefree attitude is, for me, from a productive standpoint, very negative siya. Kasi productivity-wise, lalo na ngayon nga, sabi ko nga, ang dami-dami nating oras, ang dami nating panahon. We can use that extra time, yung oras na yun, para gawin yung mga hindi natin nagagawa na matagal na, productivity-wise. So for me nga, yan, vlogs, edit, ang dami niyan, bro. I'm telling you, when I was starting, prior to Creative Voice, I had this mini blog called J Productions in YouTube. Ang dami kong na-shoot na mga content. Although, hindi man kagandahan yung camera, the technicalities, camera quality. And so, may mga unboxings ako, may mga DIY ako. I mean, yung my brother was even telling me, sabi niya, bro, dapat yung simpleng paggawa mo ng electric fan, binablog mo yan. DIY, di ba?
Fan? Uy, actually.
Yeah, bro. I mean, kami nga ni Mark eh. Di ba, Mark? Meron kami pinapanood kung paano magpalitada, semento. I mean, 4 million views. Seriously, man. 4 million views. O kaya, ganito po kung paano magpalitada ng semento, paano yung pantay yung paggawa ng bakod. I was mind blown, man. Seriously. Di ba?
And I think there's a reason why, sir. Kasi lalo na ngayon, napakasarap ng buhay natin. With technology and stuff, we forget the foundation, yung basic things. Ako mismo, hindi nga ako marunong masyado sa kotse. Aminin ko yun. Hindi ako marunong sa mga gawaing bahay, paano magtapal ng semento, yung mga handiworks. And gusto kong habulin yun. I want to learn those things. Pero of course, sometimes yung old school methods might not work today. Kasi lalo na ngayon, innovative tayo eh. Diba? Mataba, ang tawag doon, mataba ang advance mag-isip.
Advance ang isip.
Diba, sir? Yun. May maganda rin actually, sir, na pag-usapan ko sa manyana attitude, which is yung carefully planning. Mamaya na, not because tinatamad ka, but because it's not ready. It needs more planning, 'di ba? Na paano kung may idea ka, inagad-agaran mo, mali pala, sablay pala, may bawal pala. So, may consequences din. 'Di ba?
Talayo pa ba tayo, 'di ba? Again, I was watching you kanina yung parang when we were the first few minutes of the show. Kasi I was setting things up and pagkat may manyana and then you mentioned about yung careful planning. Lalayo pa ba tayo? Yeah, everybody's favorite topic, di ba? Pag nagpo-post ka ng mga post mo, ang pag-ibig. Di ba?
Yun! Nako!
Alam mo yan.
Pag-ibig.
Di ba? Pagka minadali mo siya and then medyo naging premature yung nangyari, di ba? You might get tangled up in something na you'll regret later on in life, di ba?
Oo.
And alam mo yan, when you get winded up, naitali ka na, ika nga, wala na di ba? Minsan,
wala nang balikan.
More or less, na yun it's a dead end already, di ba?
No turning back.
What if you realize later on, 3, 4, 5 years, na parang, teka lang, is this what I really wanted in my life?
Amen.
I mean, no, parang wala namang certain specific time pinapagin. Pero,
careful planning.
Careful planning too, yeah.
Exactly.
Sabi nga, a good friend once told me na only fools rush in. Diba?
Only fools? Uy, kanta yan Only fools rush in. Oo.
I didn't know there was a song.
Diba? Parang narinig ko sa kanta yun, pero ang ganda nga nun. Only fools rush in.
Yeah.
Dahil dyan.
Pagka
Number
premature and then minadali.
Exactly. Dahil dyan, sir, yung number 2, ito, very common sa ating, lalo na sa younger generation,
Okay.
you only aim for instant gratification.
Asian. Yeah.
Yung
True.
instant lahat, gusto mo. Kaya ngayon, di ba, Sir Jeff, napakasarap ng buhay ngayon. Only in a tap of a phone, pwede ka na magpa-deliver ng pagkain, magkaroon ng taxi, ng kotse, ng ride, ng Grab, di ba? In a tap of a finger, matatawagan mo na yung friends mo. In a tap of a finger, may makaka-date ka na.
Wow.
Ganun.
I didn't know that. I never tried that. Yeah. With all honestly, I never tried that. I mean, I wish I did, but I never did.
Oh, di ba?
Too bad for me, guys.
And naniniwala ba kayo, Sir Jeff, that the more instant one, the less effort we put into one thing, the less value it has?
I honestly believe so, yes. It's with a resounding yes. Yung instant gratification, it may last for a while. Speaking from experience, bro, with all honesty, pero yung something na pinaghirapan mo, something na you experience like, pain, like, kasi you put a lot of effort into building. When you end up with, I don't know, that situation, whether relationship or bagay or so, if you build it up with a lot of effort, a lot of time, yung pinagpaguran, it makes it all worth it. For me.
Yes, amen.
Better than, I believe na when it's effortless, when, it's just like magic, you just, tumating na lang, and then siguro ito na yun. But lo and behold, I guess it doesn't work that way. If you, cut corners, you do shortcuts, hindi.
Exactly. Gusto mo agad-agaran na minsan dadayain mo pa yung sistema that's instant gratification eh.
Instant gratification. Yeah, and this is
long-term
experience.
Diba? Na hindi nila alam long-term, marami palang side effects na masama.
Yes.
And that's why people, unfortunately, may mga tao that just, ang topic natin, who live in the now, not worrying about the consequences later on. Ayun na lang, panay pasarap na kain na lang ng kain, drinking, sobrang makainom, and wala namang masama na, it's not bad to have fun, but don't overdo it, diba?
Ika nga nila, it's like the YOLO habit, diba?
Yun! YOLO.
We both know, like you and me, na we at Creative Voices, it's just, parang motto natin, it's like, sometimes, you just do it, diba? Do it! Pero, sometimes there's this logic behind that din naman eh. Like, maybe you're prolonging something too much and then you're like, masyado kang dalawang isip. Sometimes sabihin sa'yo ni Sir Choi, diba? Just do it, bro. And then, find out.
Tuwin mo na lang, bro, diba?
Pero I think it's a case-to-case basis din, diba? I mean, YOLO is a totally different ball game. Parang, you just, spend your cash and everything na isang iglap and then what do you end up with? Diba? Parang sisisi ka in the end.
May magandang kasabihan nga dyan about sa YOLO eh. Diba when you say YOLO, you only live once.
Yeah.
So may sequel yan. So basically, you only live once. But if you lived a good life, one is good enough.
True.
Diba?
True, yeah.
So yun yung, kung marami kang kabutihan na ginawa sa inyong buhay sa while you're alive, it was a life well spent.
A life well spent.
Yun ang maganda.
May meaning yung ginawa mo. But otherwise, kung diba? Bale, wala. Sayang yung Parang, like, I guess, basing from the life of the many great people in history, diba? They conquered, pero in the end, died a legacy built on what? Diba?
Ang daming namatay, ang dami nilang a lot of treachery, traitors, diba? Just because napasarap nila yung buhay nila, nakatapak sila ng tao. But if you lived a good life, worth of sacrifices of, kaya nga, a lot of religious people, when you talk about Jesus, he sacrificed, talagang there's yung mga ganong klaseng, when you live for something worth dying for,
yeah,
that's a good life to live, diba?
I agree, yeah. in the end, you
So,
died for a good cause, like a just cause.
yun. And dahil dyan, number 3.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'll just erase that. Sorry.
Okay lang. Hindi mo, okay lang yan, sir. Nako ba? Tayo
That's
lang
okay.
naman.
We can
Ako,
go. We can.
basically, you're focusing on the short term. Pero you're not even certain of what you want to do the long term. Hindi mo alam kung anong plano mo in the future, in the next year, in the next 5 years. So you're just focused on what you can do for the day. Diba? Kung gusto mo lang kumita, di sige, kikita tayo ng pera para lang may pangkain. Ay man, wala nang masama doon. But if you have something, if you have sacrificed the now to live a better later, diba? What are you willing to sacrifice? Na willing ka bang magsakripisyo ng comfort ng inyong instant gratification? Are you willing to sacrifice yung mga pag-iinom nyo, pagbibisyo? Forgive me kung may mga bisyo tayo dyan, but aminin natin, long term, there's a lot of negative effects sa ating instant gratification. The feel-good moment, ika nga nila. Diba?
And then mostly, it's like, parang related with the YOLO attitude. I guess I was doing this one VO, so like focusing on the millennials, and then sabi when more of the younger people right now, they abuse themselves, not knowing kung ano yung magiging singil noon in the latter life or latter part of their lives.
Exactly.
And I think again, basing from experience, it only goes to show that I'm old. I did my own kind of kuya, stuff like
Party.
that. No, I never partied. It's just like yun. I was the part of the BPO industry for a long time.
Okay. Yes, I get it now.
So, the things that happen after shift, stuff like that. Shout out to Mark Mayo. Alam mo yan, bro.
Uy! Si Sir Mark.
Nanonood ka.
Yeah.
The works. Advice.
Shout out din kay Kuya Pas, oh. Kuya Pas!
Yan. Dana Serrano in the house. Kamusta?
The one and only. Dakilang katulong. Diba?
Alright.
Sana, tropa ko to, si Ace. Sana all mabilis magka-date. Sana all nga. Grabe.
Ikaw ba yan, THERICKMATTHEWS?
Sana all. Hindi okay yun. Wala. Tagtuyo nga rin, sir.
Huwag ka nun, bro. PG-13 lang tayo dito.
PG-13 nga pala tayo. Tagtuyo kasi hindi umulan kanina, kaya tagtuyo. Okay, goods.
Dito kasi tag-ulan lagi sa Antipolo. Ayun, no? Vigo Raddy in the house.
Siyempre, of course, ang kaisa-isa nating Sir Pocholo. Yun, pinapanood tayo ni Sir Pocholo. Siyempre.
Meron na sa inyong bungat.
Si Sir Choi, of course.
But anyway, going back to your next topic. This is the third topic.
Opo, third.
Yeah. I think this would very well apply to sa chosen careers natin right now. I'm thinking you'd agree.
Yes.
Marami ka man mga pinagdaan-daanan. Like, I've been through a lot of jobs. And by the way, I'm going to be sharing this experience darating nating VoicesCon on Sunday. So I'm promoting it formally since I'll be one of the main speakers for this Sunday. So in celebration of 15 years of Creative Voices Productions, greatness in the voice acting industry, I'll be sharing this experience on how I reached this. And so your third topic is not focusing, or you only focus on short term and uncertain of long term. For a while, when I was starting in the voiceover, in the field, a lot of people were thinking, I quit 2 jobs. I was working freelance for 2 jobs, and I was earning very well more than, for an 8 to 5 job that I was working online at home, single. I was earning more than 50 in a month, and that was for 2 jobs. So that was serious stuff, man. Pero I decided to take a leap of faith and started out with voiceovers because I love doing it ever since I was a kid. I love mimicking the commercials and also a lot of people were telling me na maybe you're just focusing on short term and not yung long term. Kasi yung trabaho mo nga naman, di ba, may na-expect ka every quincenas or a 30
Mhm.
may sahurin ka. So
Sahod.
with this, it's project-based, di ba? So medyo questionable yung dating. But then
Yes.
again,
Freelance.
when I asked myself, if will I still want to be doing this 10, 15 years from now? I'd say yes, because this is where my heart is. I won't say I'll still be accepting like the run of the mill projects and so, but I'm
Tama.
seeing myself being there, being with one of the greats, one of the best, diba? Of course,
Siyempre.
we always promote greatness naman in our club, right? Creative Voices,
Oo.
BJ,
That is what
Radio,
we
whatever
do.
that we do. You don't want to be mediocre in what you're doing, like contrary to what some people are saying behind our backs. Yes, diba? And sobrang, alam mo bro, it's been a long while. Shout out to Jordan Sisbilyasan. We've been doing this,
Sir
since,
JB.
yeah, with JB, MK, the gang. We've been doing this for, medyo, overdue na. And they very well know that me in front of the camera, in front of a microphone, in front of an audience, I'm never afraid of, calling out those good people who are saying a lot of good things behind our backs. So yeah, I'm talking to you, man. I'm talking to all of you. Contrary to what you guys are saying, diba? Here in our group, here in Creative Voices, we always aim for greatness, diba? And we're not make believe people that I don't know where you guys get that. But we started to be crashing your show, bro. But
Okay lang, bro. Okay lang.
going back to the point, not focusing on short term and uncertain of long term. I'd say that when I jump ship, when I quit those two jobs, saying seeing myself what my long term goals were, 10, 15 years from now, yeah, I want to be with one of the greats. I won't say na I'll be better than my mentor, but it always tell me na, diba, that's the goal of being a mentor.
Being
You
better
want
than the
your student,
master.
diba?
Diba? Yun
You
lang
want your
naman ang
student to be better, to not commit the same flaws, not commit the
passion
same
pa rin.
mistakes.
Amen.
Yeah. Passion too. Thank you, Sir Ace.
Oo, tropa ko yan. Yan.
Sharing
Mayaman,
the Rick Matthews.
yan ang pinakamayaman kong tropa. Yun talaga eh.
Yun naman pala eh.
So yan, focus on the short term but uncertain of the long term na, yun na nga. I mean, wala nang masama sa pera-pera, wala nang masama sa sumasahod, your day job, but if you don't have a passion that you want to do for the rest of your life for the long term, diba? What's the purpose of life, diba?
Yeah.
Not well spent.
It's like you don't want to be a robot or parang clockwork lang yung system mo. That's how it is with your usual day-to-day jobs.
Sabi,
I actually had a sense of appreciation for all our teachers out there ever since this pandemic started. Yeah, I mean, parang nagkaroon ako ng appreciation for the sacrifices they do. My sister's a teacher in Assumption, Negros. Plus a lot of colleagues of ours, di ba, mga teachers sila. So a big shout out to all of them, and I honor you. I salute all of you, because unlike some of the usual jobs that I know, 8 to 5, it's like robotic, routine what we do. But I truly honor these people because yung paggawa pa lang ng mga reports and then
iba yung dinadanas nila ngayon.
Yeah,
online.
iba.
Mahirap mag-adjust.
Then again, focusing on the long term, right?
Yes. And dahil dyan, because you're not focused on the long term, Sir Jeff, number 4, iwasan mo ang mga current problems. You're avoiding the problems because you're only focused on the now. You're only focused sa YOLO nga, di ba? Huwag mo ng problema. Let's worry about that later. Yan, mga ganon. Na hindi...
Yeah, go ahead.
Na hindi sila... It's not only they're avoiding it, they're not even addressing na may problema. Yun ang mas masama. na they should at least address that there is a problem in them na, oh, I need to address this, I need to be aware of this, that we need to, in a sense, do something about it kahit the tiniest effort possible, diba? But instead, you focused on, yun na nga, parang nilalagyan nyo lang ng band-aid solution ng mga problema nyo ng inyong mga pleasures, ng inyong mga, yun nga, if you have a problem, kain na lang tayo ng fast food, inom na lang natin yan, yun yung linya, diba? Iinom na lang natin yan.
Pagka may problema, basagin mo, and then yung hangover mo, yun yung problema mo.
Basag talaga.
Yeah. The works. Yeah, I've been there.
Diba? May mga experiences natin sa buhay.
I have to say, if you're focused on the short term talaga, I think what the problem is for most people, or I guess for some, is that they're really, maybe yung problem is just they're not trying to avoid it, but they're trying to get away with it, get away from it, because they don't see a timely solution for that right now. And maybe, marami akong mga aside from the inom, there are some people who are, creating their own realities like elsewhere. Like for the ones who play, I don't know, ML, Mobile Legends. Yeah, it's like, because they have the kids nowadays, doon na yung buhay nila like, online na. Even yung mga ka-jowa nila, doon na rin. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's their way of escape from their realities. So, maybe it works for some people, but for me, it's always about finding the right solution for a problem. I think wala namang problema na walang
or making the effort to find the solution. Diba?
And if it's not going to be attainable in the immediate present, then, work on it in the future. Wala namang sitwasyon na hindi uusad or like hindi magbabago if you put a lot of effort into it. And I've always believed in that. Quick trivia, I use the name John. So again, I'll be sharing this to the people who will be attending the Voices Con 2020 on Sunday.
John.
I always say that John is the name that, because I'm Jeffrey John, diba? So I'm Jeff to friends. Yeah, Jeffrey John. I'm Jeff to my colleagues, the close friends that I have, but I'm John professionally. And I'd say that John in the Bible, so John was the most favored, like parang he's the apostle who remained, right? At the crucifixion.
Yeah, okay.
He was the one who remained, and then he got the chance to, like, parang sa kanya pinaubaya si Mary, diba? Parang siya isa sa mga favored na apostle. And I always say na, ako yung pinaka persistent na person when I'm praying, when I really, really, really want something or someone. And I'd really pray hard for it. I'd really work hard for it.
Yes. Tama yan. Mixture of faith and hard work.
Hard work. Nothing beats hard work. Yun naman yan.
Amen. Yeah. Kahit anong sabi nga nila, ego kills talent.
Yeah.
Hard work kills talent.
Ego kills everything, man. Diba?
Exactly. And speaking of mga friends, nabanggit natin yung mga friends na nakikita natin online sa Mobile Legends, that last one is we only hang out with people who makes you feel happy. So, alam ko medyo parang magtataka ka, anong masama naman dito? So, I'll explain first. So, you only hang out with people who makes you feel happy. Ibig sabihin po noon, mga ka-Ricktards, you're only hanging out with the people who are there for the good times. Pag may masayang event, pag may magandang pangyayari, may celebration tayo, tara, inom, tara, kain tayo, tara, bakasyon tayo, unwind tayo. Nasaan sila pag may problema ka? Nasaan sila pag nawalan ka ng pera, nawalan ka ng minamahal sa buhay, pag may breakup? Iniiwasan ka nila because they're only there for the good vibes. But when you're down, huyo ka sa kanila. And that's a sad reality of life right now, na may mga ganun talagang tao that there are who makes you feel happy. You only hang out with people who makes you feel happy because they want to be just happy. They're avoiding their own problems with the people they hang out with kasi yun na nga, happiness is, kaya hindi pwede laging happiness 'di ba Sir Jeff? Na sometimes talaga, in life, you're gonna get sad, you're gonna get happy. Diba?
I'd say that itong point na to, taking the story from, borrowing the story of Raymer. Di ba parang ganyan din eh. It's a lot of people who are all only there para doon sa mga good times, happy times. Sabi nga, di ba, I'm with you through thick and thin. Or like this meme that I read, I'm with you through thick and thick. Kasi pataba kayo ng para. But, kidding aside, yeah, I mean, may mga taong ganyan eh. It's really how you'll be able to test and gauge who your real or true friends are. Kung sino yung dadamayan ka, samahan ka to your downtimes. And I've seen my share of depressing stories, even speaking from experience. And I know there's this certain group of people who I'd always have to say has got my back. These would be my high school barkada. I mean, through everything, man. Through everything that has happened in my life, lahat ups and downs. Minsan nga ako na lang yung kasi minsan nakikita ko pa ako lang yung down and down lagi. I mean, they're living the good lives, but they never abandon me, not for one second. And of course, of course, you guys, people of choices.
Hilahan pataas, di ba, Sir Jeff? And at least, those, kung mga alam mong mga totoong tao is, they will call you out na kung may mali ka and kung may kailangan kang baguhin, those are real people. Even if masakit man sabihin, these are, hindi yung, okay lang yan bro, magsaya na lang tayo, huwag mo nang alalahanin yan. No, we have to address this, di ba?
And if they really have to like,
di ba? Yung mga ganun.
If they really have to hurt you in the process of like to frame things out, diba? Para i-correct ka, they do it because they're like your real bros, diba?
Amen. Through thick and thin.
Of course, the good people at Creative Voices was there for me when I needed them.
Naman.
Shout out to everyone. Yeah. Mga times
Team CV.
Yeah.
So yun yung unfortunate ngayon na may mga tao talaga na pasaya lang, good, they're there for the good times, pero pagdating ng may problema, nagiging defensive sila, umiiwas sila. So that's why I think it's best that we hang out and we make friends with people who genuinely want the best for you. Diba?
Yes. That's yung pagkatipong sikat ka na, pagkakilala ka na. And I'll always say that, hang out with the really good people and the genuine people. And I have to say, I mean, you guys are genuine people because we've seen the worst out of everybody. And, me being, again, basing from experience, like, I'd go toe-to-toe with anybody who hurts my team. I mean, you have to go through me. If you, like, pag kinanti mo, the people that I care, you'll have to go through me. Anytime, any day.
Yan ang Amen. And ito yung mga tipong kailangan i-value sa buhay, na yung sabi nga nila, those who are willing to put a bullet for you, to ano?
Yeah.
Tama ba yung term? Na kung babarilin ka, sila ang sasalo. And that's rare. Ako minsan, parang kaya ko bang gawin yun? Hindi natin alam, no? I mean,
I think, it's figuratively naman. You don't really necessarily have to do that. Like, just be there for the person when they need you. Diba?
Yun lang naman.
Because especially in this time, right now, there are a lot of people who yung unheard yung voice. That's why I like this title here, Voice of the Boys.
Binago ko na, sir. Yes, para mas chill, diba?
Kasi, like, especially in this time, there are a lot of unheard voices na maybe akala lang natin okay sila on the outside, but maybe deep inside, they need like emotional support, like someone to listen to. Diba? I mean, that's why not necessarily taking a bullet for the person, but just being there for the person. That means
pakinggan mo lang.
Yeah.
Malaking bagay na yun minsan.
Oras mo lang.
Mag-vent out sila. And kaya nga itong title ng show ko is Voice of the Boys. Hindi lang siya pang lalaki per se, but if you're also one of the boys, yung ika nga, one of the boys ka, uy, tara, tropa ka naman, one of the boys ka naman. Diba? So yun, mga usapang tropa, usapang, nga, like what I'm calling this is the selfish series. This is from last week, I discussed about the past self. Ang napag-usapan ko is what are the signs that people haven't moved on sa kanilang past or they're still clinging on to the past. But for now, ang naging usapan natin, should we only live for the present? Diba?
Yeah.
And next
So
week, future. Ano yun, sir?
So I saw this, and I unfortunately, it's too bad that I missed your previous episode. I should have been there.
Okay lang.
Someone who clings on the past for so long in my life, but I'm glad that everything's falling into place right now, and
Amen.
I have to say it has something to do with just letting go of the excess baggages.
Amen. Oo. Minsan kailangan, pag alam mong nahihirapan ka na, no, you have to let go of the baggage. Hindi naman pwedeng ikaw sasalo lang ng lahat. Kasi naranasan ko rin yun, sir. Naranasan ko na, why am I in this situation? Pakawalan ko na lang kaya. Let things go. And yung makakahinga ka na.
Yeah.
And that's why when we're
you also have
discussing,
to focus on yourself growth.
Exactly. You have to let yourself go. That's why I need sa ating mga characters dyan na nakikinig, in order for you to stay on the path sa inyong present self. Paano mo ba kikilalanin ang sarili mo? Of course, first of all, you have to know what your story is. Kaya nga pinag-usapan natin ang past self natin last week. Kasi gusto kong malaman ninyo ang inyong nakaraan, kung ano yung mga naging accomplishments ninyo noon, mga pagkakamali ninyo noon at pagkukulang ninyo noon, so that right now you're more aware of where you are, kung anong kinatatayuan ninyo ngayon. And dahil doon, malalaman mo rin ang inyong strengths and weaknesses, because kung binalikan mo yung experiences mo before, ganito pala ako, ano pala ako na I'm good at this, I'm actually bad at that. And now doon mo you'll figure it out. You're gonna plan carefully ahead for the future, how you're gonna change it, or even not even change it, or minsan you have to accept it. Depende, no, sa situation. And of course, what can you offer to the table? Ano bang kakayanan mo? What are you able to do? What are you able to provide? What are your skills? Your expertise? Minsan, Sir Jeff, nakatago yan. Di mo alam na, grabe, magaling palang kumanta si Sir Jeff. Oh? You never know. May mga untapped talent. Ako, hindi ko akalain na makakapag-online host ako ng ganito. Man, para ang kailan lang, babalikan natin last February. Naalala ko, you were just teaching us. Ikaw yung unang tutor namin nun. That was our first day. Nagpapakilala lang kami nun. Naalala ko yun. And tinanong mo kami ng Sir Jeff, ano ba yung, what are your hopes? What do you expect in this, workshop? Alala ko yun. Sinulat ko noon, gusto ko makilala yung industriya ng voiceover. I want to be familiar with the industry. And nakalain mo yun. Ngayon, I'm part of the industry with you guys. Ang galing.
It all took you that one small step of, investing your money, your time, and then putting your heart into it. And now here you are. Fast forward to where we are now a few months later. And I have to say that, it's really an experience. Plus, I'm nakaka-proud to see you here working so close to the team. Of course, team, diba?
Hindi ko inaakala na umabot ako ng ganito, sir. Like, looking back at the past. And I think that's one more thing, no, na gratefulness din to where you are right now. Being grateful to your situation. Because, mga karektards, ito sulat ko, be grateful to where you are right now. Kasi, ito, Sir Jeff, you can agree, no? Some people would kill para lang makarating sa situation natin ngayon, sa buhay natin. Nakala natin kulang, ang dami natin kulang, but no. We're kompleto ang kamay natin, ang daliri natin, ang paa, wala tayong missing body parts, wala tayong sakit. So be grateful for the moment na kung ano yung meron natin. Because others, pinapangarap lang nila na magkaroon tayo kung ano yung meron tayo, di ba?
Yes. back in the days, I'd always say that this is where you really have to like appreciate and show value. The little things, the small things that you have, and that very example that you just said right now, na the fact na kompleto tayo, like you have your intellect, you have two eyes, you have good ears to listen, everything that you have, like it just works, diba? That's something to be thankful for because ang daming tao na hindi kayang lumakad, hindi kayang magsalita, hindi kayang express yung sarili nila. And
We have
I
a
can't
voice
even
that is being heard.
yeah, I can't even imagine waking up in the morning and not hearing good music because hearing impaired na ako, or not being able to speak my mind because madaldal akong tao, diba? Because like, diba? I mean, it's
Or
something
seeing the beauty in life, mga magagandang binibini. Hey! Diba? So yun, a lot of things to be grateful
where you are right now, and I'd have to say I'd always be grateful for that one email. What in 2017 November that came from the man who gave me this everything that I have right now, this position, the company, and that's you, Sir Joy. Thank you.
Of course, ang isa nating si
It
Sir
could
Joy.
have been like anybody else. I was actually exchanging emails with Kathleen, that voiced over Flowers as well. She was handling the voice caster duties back in the day, but the email came from the voice master himself, and then it was very simple. Bro, I like the tone of your voice. Come on down to the studio. Let's have your voice file, and the rest was history, bro. It was that.
So, ang bilis ng pangyayari. And Christopher Francis Cruz, good evening po.
Sir Chris, alright. The voice coach, ang nag-isa. Good evening, sir.
Yun. Magandang gabi po. Maraming salamat sa pag-tune in sa aming programa sa The Voice of the Boys. And of course, mga tropa natin, yun! Isa sa mga best friend ko, si Casas Van Casas. Yan ang pinaka-literal heavyweight. Mga tropang mabigatin yan. Close to the heart.
Thank you for joining the show.
Yes, siya pala yung naging guest ko last week, yung tropa ko. Yung mga napag-usapan namin about the past self, and of course, Ace Gadia. Sometimes, yes, the first jump will be scary. Just do it nga naman. Parang nahikilang sir?
Just like you, bro. Diba? When I got to know your story, because I don't know, bro, it was so long ago when you joined the workshop and everything.
Ang bilis, no?
I really thought that you were like this Ponyo guy from us.
Well, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah,
so
like, oh my God. Yeah, when I got to know your story, like later on, especially with your guesting in GM, I was like, what the hell, man? I mean, this guy, this guy is like, dumaan ka rin sa hirap and everything before you got here.
Yes. Dumaan din ako. Natuto akong mag-commute, natuto akong maglakad, maghugas ng pinggan, natuto akong mura-murain, duru-duruin, detail my profession, natuto akong nareklamo ko ilang beses, a lot of things, heartbreak, pressure, failure.
That bottle in I was mind blown, bro. I mean, like, look at this guy. But here we are. Then again, here we are. And
kung hindi dahil dun sa mga pangyayari ko sa aking nakaraan, I'm in a way thankful in a lot of ways to where I am right now. No, hindi ko pinagsisisihan yung ginagawa ko ngayon because I know sa future natin na not just in creative voices but sa ating industriya, sa ating buhay, ito na po ang magiging standard mga programa natin.
Yeah.
I hope it will produce more valuable content and I'm grateful na naging parte ako. I'm grateful na natutunan kong lahat ng ito. You know? Kasi hindi ko akalain talaga na makakarating ako to where I am right now. But then again, just because you're grateful, that doesn't mean sapat na yun.
Yeah, okay. You never
because there are always the next steps. And this is the last one. We have to make ourselves responsible and accountable for what we say and do. Actions. Di ba, sir?
Yeah.
May pananagutan ka sa mga pananalita mo at sa mga ginagawa mo because it will come back at you. You know, your present self, take care of your image, take care of your brand, take care of your identity because it will be yun ang plataforma mo para sa inyong future self para mag-grow. So, take good care of yourself. Huwag kang, yun na nga, and make sure to follow everything na make friends with people who genuinely want the best for you, Be grateful, know yourself, know your strengths and weaknesses, and know your story.
Yeah, true. Being responsible and accountable for everything that you do, your actions, what you say, sabi nga, di ba, think before you click, especially with the rise of social media and online platforms. Yung ano yung press release mo ngayon, it can and will be used against you. Kaya yung mga mahilig mag-post at mag-comment sa post ng ibang tao, alam mo kung sino ka, hindi ko na kailangan sabihin ang pangalan mo. And I want you to look me in the eye at sabihin mo sa akin na may talaga yung posisyon ko.
Ikaw ba yan?
Diba? Kasi magaling ka lang mag-post online pero ayaw mo makipagkita sa akin. Diba? Napakarami mong oras pero ayaw mo makipagkita. So,
that's why we have to be responsible sa ating pananalita, sa ating actions, and lalo na if what you're trying to say is true to yourself. Kailangan always at the end of the day dapat dun ang pinanghuhugutan mo na totoo ka sa sarili mo.
Exactly.
And you do it for the common good na makakatulong ka sa ibang tao.
Just like what we're doing here right now. Are we fooling people? I would never jump in a ship that is in the business of fooling people or telling lies and everything.
Amen.
It's like, what some people are telling us, contrary to what you guys are believing, and I don't know what you guys are on. But that was never my belief. We've always been true to what we disclose, to how we do business, and it's just like the numbers and the thousands of graduates that we had are testament enough that what we do here in Creative Voices and what we do in the business is always for greatness, right? It's not about ripping people off. If you're thinking that we're ripping people off, then I don't know what your mind is on. I don't know what you guys are taking.
And kaya nga nagpapasalamat ako na nakarating ako to where I am right now, na ang daming obstacles. That's why napaisip ako minsan, Sir Jeff, minsan napapaisip ako, ano ba to, parang magte-30 anyos na ako in a few days, pero ano na bang narating ko? Yun ang lagi kong sinasabi, ano na bang narating ko? That's why I'm so sad and malungkot ako na ayokong mag-celebrate, ayokong gumawa ng kahit ano, but knowing that I have something that money na hindi mo ma-measure ng pera, ng kasikatan, is friends and family and the things that I have right now. Health, lalo na.
Those will always be priceless. The little things that you have, especially the way you're speaking right now, this platform, this show, the team that you have, it can never be bought. It's priceless.
Amen, sir. And nagpapasalamat talaga ako. And hindi ko talaga, I always get the chance to thank the people who helped me. If of course, nandyan kayo, Creative Voices Productions, given na talaga yun. Si Kuya Paz. Grabe, Kuya Paz, maraming tulong sa akin yan. Tropa ko si Monsi. Mga Raymond C, Ace Gadia, yan, yung nag-comment kanina, mga tropa yan. Mga friends ko for a long time. Sina Earl, Elise, si Van kanina, si Kevin, si Chong, si Enzo, all of those, nung ako down na down ako, nung nasa abroad, silang kumakausap sa akin. Of course, my family, yung pamilya ko na, mother ko na iniintindi ako ngayon. Kahit na, she understands na nag-ano ko yan, I'm restarting. Naintindihan niya, kaya hindi siya nagiging madamot. So, I'm really appreciative for that. And sana talaga makabawi ako. Eventually.
It's all a matter of putting where your heart is. Sabi before, you can't eat your passion, but if you put your heart into it, you would,
it would feed you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, with enough hard work, you can make it all worth it. And it's
yun lang talaga. Yeah. And dahil dyan, mga ka-voice mates, mga ka-rectards, This is our second part of the Selfish series. Episode 3, part 2 na po ng Selfish series. Pero next week, ano bang pag-uusapan natin next week for episode 4? So, dahil present self tayo ngayon, let's talk about the future for next week. Should we be afraid of what's coming, of the future? Kasi nga, sinasabi natin, ay, hindi natin alam anong mangyayari sa ating what could happen tomorrow, the next day, or the next month, or the next year. Nakakatakot, lalo na pandemic. So, but should we be afraid? Should we always be afraid of it? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin next week. And hopefully this episode helped you discover who you are more in your present self. And dahil dyan, maraming salamat po once again, Sir Jeff, sa pag-guest and to share 1 hour of your time sa ating Voice of the Boys. At dito na rin po magtatapos ang ating programa. Thank you sa ating mga ka-rectard, sa mga voicemates, 7 viewers. Marami pong salamat sa pag-view sa akin.
Lucky 7.
Yes, lucky 8. Ayun, umabot nga tayo ng 10 kanina. I'm so grateful. And thank you, of course, kina Sir Pocholo, the Voice Master, Sir Choi, Sir Pocholo de Leon Gonzalez, sa inyong pagbigay sa akin ng plataforma nito and for discovering this untapped potential na meron ako. And dahil dyan, I hope to see you again next week to another episode of what was once called Trigger Talk. Ngayon, we're now Voice of the Boys. All right. Stay tuned and stay woke. Yun talaga. All right. Peace out, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys next week. Right here on the Voice of the Boys. This has been Jeff Gusayko, the V.
V caster or V lang, no, sir?
Yeah, the V.
Amen. All right. Thank you, and good night.
Have a good night.